This year at Mebane Auction has been our best year as far as comic books coming in. About a month ago, a guy came in, had a little stack of comic books. I walked into the office. John said, "Hey, is this one any good?" And he held up that comic book right there. And I said, "God, yes, John. That's the most important comic book's ever been here, and probably ever will be." The man bought this as a little boy when it came out, and he bought a whole stack of comic books. He said he had boxes of them, and these are the ones that survived. You got the Jim, the very first appearance of Spider-Man. And then today, believe it or not, another man walked in, bought his comic books in Burlington as a little boy, and in his stack he had this. Showcase number 4, DC, first appearance of Barry Allen as the Flash.
I was raised in Omaha, Nebraska.
That's where you said you bought it, huh?
That's where I bought it. I lived there, as a kid until I went away to college. I lived in the north end of town. Anyway, we had our own little drugstore, and there was a grocery store and a variety store and stores like that. But the local drugstore was kind of the headquarters for magazines and comic books. We were frequenters of that comic book counter. All the kids in the neighborhood went there.
Yeah.
So forth. Lots of times, and we'd sit there at the soda fountain and read through the comics. The Flash, it was just such a neat concept. I paged through the thing after I saw the thing sitting there. I paged through it and said, "Oh man, that's a great story." Even the existence of this comic book had completely slipped my mind. I'd totally forgotten even about the stack. Around 1980, I was on a business trip, found a magazine in the seat pocket of the airplane, started leafing through it, and the article was about the comic book collecting and the craze and how values and whatnot were increasing. And it had a series of pictures in there.
Yeah.
And one of the pictures in the magazine was this showcase number 4 comic. And I looked at that and I said, "Wow, I think I had one of those at one time. I wonder what happened to it." Kind of put it out of my mind, but I was aware at that point that they were worth had some value. And I didn't think anything else about it until my dad passed away in 1995. I'm an only child, so I got stuck with cleaning out the house. And in this basement closet underneath the stairwell, I found a brown paper bag there, and it had a stack of comics, about that many of them probably. And one of them, the Flash comic, was in there. And of course that registered right away. I said, "Oh man." I collected them all in a pile and brought them back to North Carolina. So I moved the comics to our basement, put it in a storage cabinet in the basement, and there the pile sat. And finally, this last year, we decided that it was time to downsize. So we're in the process of cleaning everything out, and it was time to look into taking care of this. So that led me to John and we met an antiques auction, and that's how I got here. How about you?
Well, I've always loved to read ever since I was little. Each Sunday, my father would take us after church or Sunday school to the local newsstand, which had comic books, magazines, and newspapers. And we would get comic books there. And I was attracted. The artwork is just incredible. This Spider-Man, Stan Lee stuff. It's just, the artwork is just amazing.
Yeah, it truly is.
Before that, I had Superman, Superboy, Batman, all those comic books. But then Fantastic Four came in the early 60s, maybe 61. And then Spider-Man appeared here, on the cover here, but he was a new character. And something in the back of my head always knows that first of anything is always more valuable. I looked all through the house. I thought in every room, and even in the basement, for the comic books and baseball cards. And so didn't see them. And so several years, or a year, I'm not sure the time frame, but we had someone working in our house, and he happened to be in the guest room up in the closet. There's a shelf up there, a high shelf. He says, "There's some comic books up there." I found about 30 comic books, and Spider-Man was one of them.
Wow. Did you know at the time that it had such value?
Yeah, I knew it had value, and I wasn't sure of the value of it. And then I put them away, and about 10 years later, I'm here right now with all the emphasis on action movies. This is a real good time
for that kind of thing.
Superheroes. Just about every movie that's a blockbuster is a superhero movie. The funny thing is, I never thought the comic books would be more valuable than the coins or baseball cards, but in the whole, I think they are.
I think in the case of the Flash, the artwork on the front of it is what really first caught my eye. Because there were other action character comics, you know, that I could have purchased at the time with my 10 cents, but I liked it.
The 12 cents though, that's 12-cent Spider-Man.
Oh, geez, you got to break it off.
Yeah, I didn't. A lot of imagination put into these comic books.
The amazing part to me is that it didn't get thrown away with so much of your other stuff.
Somehow that one survived.
Hey, John, I'm entrusting this to you. If your reputation is impeccable, and appreciate all you've done.
Thank you, Ed. I'm very proud and honored to be representing Mr. Wooten here on this Teen Amazing Fantasies number 15 Spider-Man comic book. Mr. Wooten approached me about 2 months ago with this project. I was very excited about this. We done our research. We contacted CGC in Sarasota. I personally flew down there and had this certified and graded and authenticated. And it's a untouched magazine. Mr. Wooten cared for this all these years, and I'm very honored and proud to be representing the Wooten family on this rare comic. It will be sold August 3rd at the annual Carolina Country Store sale, and it is in our featured catalog.
Well, John, it's a pleasure to be doing business with you. I thank you so much for endeavoring to sell this comic. I know you put a lot of effort into it. I trust this to you, and we're looking forward to having a great auction.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is Mr. Meisenbach. He entrusted me with an auction and delivered this comic book to us about 45 days ago. We are very proud and honored to be representing this client. After receiving it, we flew it straight to Sarasota along with the Spider-Man. This is this here is the showcase introducing the Flash #1. It has been certified, authenticated, and graded at CGC in Sarasota, and we're very excited and proud to be representing this client. It will be sold at our annual Carolina Country Store auction in the featured catalog session on Saturday, August 3rd.